Welcome everyone to Genoa. Right now we are on the bus tour. This is the Red Line, which is the historical tour, and it goes for 1 hour. Right now I am on the second stop. I'm so excited to show you around. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist, and let's explore Genoa. Now, one of my favorite things to do when first coming to a city is taking these bus tours. I know they are very touristy. That's the point. And I do not recommend to use them as hop on, hop off, as they are advertised to do so. The reason for that is that I find them way more useful as a one trip throughout the entire historical or touristy area of a city. And sometimes some cities might have multiple routes. Like here, they have 2 routes to see what the city has to offer all in one go. And then later on, you can walk, you can use public transportation, you can use taxis to get around the city. That's my top recommendation when it comes to using these bus services, because I end up seeing the lay of the land, and I can see, I want to maybe visit that landmark. Oh, that neighborhood I thought was interesting, maybe not so much. Oh, I want to see that coastline. I want to go to that waterfront. That restaurant. That's the beauty of these bus tours. So let me know if you partake in these bus tours when you visit a new city. And let's explore Genoa. So welcome everyone. Right now, we're taking a pause. And we're about to continue on our merry way. We're in the historic center of Genoa. Genoa is located in northern Italy in the region of Liguria. It's about 1 hour or so from Milan, about 2 hours away from Turin by train, and it's a very easily accessible city from Milan, which a lot of people would visit anyway, so it makes for an excellent day trip as well if you don't want to actually stay in Genoa. Hello Kay, nice to see you here. Hello Infinity Sora. Hello Robin says, enjoy your day, wish I was there, I'm stuck in NYC. Hello Susie. Hello Suzanne. Hello Andrew, welcome. Andrew says, good day mate. RJ from Colorado. Yogi from New Jersey. Paltry, nice to see you here. I'm so happy some people tuning in. Andrew, nice to see you here as well. So we explored these areas on foot, but I'm curious to see what else we will see by bus. George says, I do the same thing where I go. Buongiorno from Metro Detroit. George, nice to see you here. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I actually don't really like using them for hopping off and hopping off. I know some people prefer it, though the downside of that is that buses don't run so often. B, they might not be so convenient for the flow of exploring the city. You'll be really sticking to the big touristy sites if you depend on the bus as transportation. And then C is you might be stuck in traffic, depending on the city. Today's a Sunday, so it's pretty light in Genoa. Italians take their Sundays pretty seriously, so it's kind of calm. But if you go like Athens and try to use the double-decker as a transportation, you will be stuck in traffic for a long time. So it's better to use them as a one ride, see the city. Especially once you fly in, you don't really want to walk around too much. You might be a little bit jet lagged. You might be coming from a long train journey. You don't want to really kind of walk around and let me put the mic a little bit closer to me. You don't want to walk around and kind of be, stressed out. So these buses are good for that kind of first day where you just want to take it easy. You get to see the city, and then you can hit the ground running to enjoy the sights the next day. Infinity says that was a impressive introduction and a smooth phone transition. Hey, I'm so glad you think so, Infinity Sora. Pistol, nice to see you here. Tuning in from Puerto Rico. Bienvenidos. Puede preguntar cualquier cosa en español también. Tom, nice to see you here. about to go into one of the tunnels and go through these gigantic buildings. So right now we are in city sightseeing. €25 was the admission for 24 hours. Good price. They're not charging obscenely high like some other cities are starting to do. And right now, pardon the wind, we are on the red line. Actually passing by quite a lot. Wow. Larry says, a Sunday morning tour of a beautiful city. This is exactly what I needed this morning. Thank you. My pleasure, Larry. Daniel says, I love sightseeing. It's a difference from the cities in Germany. Yeah, Italy has a interesting style to their cities, for sure. Picard, nice to see you here. Hope you're doing well. Wendy says, wow, gorgeous. Yeah, it is. Hello, Miss Love. Oh, I'm so happy so many people tuning in. George says, they're good to get the lay of the land. You might see something you don't know that existed. There's tourists and shopping centers. Yes, that's right. Let me know, is there one in Detroit, George? It was way more packed in the morning, so this is another pro tip I have is I've noticed more and more that I've traveled that these double-decker buses get very packed in the morning because most people cram their sightseeing early in the morning. So the first 2 or 3 buses are usually jam-packed with tourists, especially in the more popular cities. So I would recommend going a little bit later in the day, like late afternoon. Most people just already will be eating lunch, so they're not going to be taking the bus tour, so the bus tours tend to be empty, or take the last ride if it's not a gigantic city of tourism like Paris or Rome or New York. You'll have a pretty nice ride with the last ride, which depends on the city. Today here in Genoa it's 4:30. Dindin says, is there a guide? There's an audio guide right here. You can choose all the languages: Italian, English, French, German, Spanish, Russian, Mandarin, and Portuguese. And all these double-decker buses always provide headphones. The guides, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're pretty bad. I don't know about Genoa, I haven't listened to it. But the best of the audio guides I've ever encountered for a bus tour was by far Dublin in Ireland. The best bus tour of a city that I've ever encountered with a live guide is by far Boston in the US. Wendy says that you have a good night's sleep. I did. I'm having a bit tough time getting used to these firm beds of Italy. I've had 3 lodgings in a row Arezzo, Verona, and now um, Genoa, where the bed is very, very firm. And I usually am, I rarely ever have lower back. Is my lower back ever uncomfortable? It's very rare. And unfortunately, sleeping in these firm beds, that is indeed the case. But otherwise, I've been sleeping pretty well. George says, in Detroit, we don't have a double decker yet. We do have a trolley, though. It's only 1.5 miles. Infinity says, have you fastened your seatbelt? Always practice precaution. If they ask you to put your seatbelt, then put on your seatbelt. No one asked. It's very rare these double-decker bus tours that anyone asks to put your seatbelt. And some of them don't even offer seatbelts, but this one does. Susie says, I've done the bus tour in New York City with friends out of town. Interesting perspective as a lifelong New Yorker. I love the bus tours in New York. It's truly a great way to see New York City. Here's one of the train stations. This one's a little bit bigger. Bigole. So this train station, to catch direct trains to Cinque Terre, this is the one. It's Bigole, I think it's pronounced. Brown Eyed Girl says, interesting buildings. Oh yeah, we're seeing a lot of interesting buildings here. You can see how the city extends into the surrounding hills. To Genoa, you have the main port, which is down below sea level, and then you have the rest of the city that expanded post World War II into the hills. Are those solar panels? I don't think so. They just look like them, but they're not. Wendy says sublime architecture really is sublime. Susie says, what sound is that? Sounds like Cloverfield. Yeah, it's the bus. I think the bus is a bit old. Needs a little bit of WD-40. Good morning, man. Nice to see you here. Wendy says, how long are you staying in Italy? Italy through mid-October. Mid-October, you'll be seeing parts of Italy. Contrast says, I only know Genoa salami. I'm not sure why people keep mentioning salami. I barely encountered salami so far on my trip to Genoa. Genoa is really well known for its pesto and its seafood. And the pesto, oh my. I wish I would have taken a video of this, but I went to like a specialty pesto store where you can buy these little tiny jars of pesto, fresh, really well made. And I got myself the best focaccia, one of the better rated focaccias in all of Genoa. Focaccia, if you don't know, is like this fluffy bread that's very easy to eat, very chewy, and the focaccia I bought just came right out of the oven. The pesto was nice and cold because you have to store in the fridge if you're making good pesto. And oh my, I usually tastes weird. I never liked the taste of pesto in Italian American cuisine, but the pesto here on Genoa is on level. Seriously, mind blowing. It's like delicate. It's nice. It's smooth. It has a nice kind of floral quality to it that the American basil doesn't. And I was shocked at the difference. I was actually very reluctant to come and try some pesto. When I planned for Genoa, I was like, I'm not gonna be so enthused about the food as I was in Bologna or as I was in Tuscany. But no, oh my, I want to have all the pesto now. Ron, nice to see you here. Ron, haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing, Ron? Stuart from the UK says, I went to Genoa back in 2012. It's an overlooked city with lots of character. It really is. Alex says, where are you, dude? In the city of Genoa. Or as the Italians say in their native language, Genova. Mohammed says, how are you doing? Mohammed, I'm doing well. Salam alaikum. Thank you so much for tuning in. So we're taking this bus ride. Feel free to ask me any questions. Chris says, how do you rate Genoa so far? So, Genoa is a fascinating city. I like the city. It's a city that I can really chill in. Similar to Athens, you have a lot of cafes, you can sit down, great food. There's a lot of options, lots of cool people. And then there's a lot of beautiful architecture and also this gritty, grungy character to it. Genoa, I would say, for a trip, it is good for a day trip. You don't really need to stay here many days. You can. I would say if I were to recommend it as a full trip, I would say maybe maximum 3 days would probably be the best time to spend in Genoa. If you want to hop on to Cinque Terre, 3 days is good. 2 days full Genoa, and then 1 day you get to go to Cinque Terre. Brown Girl says Genoa was the birthplace of Christopher Columbus. Indeed, it is. He spoke Ligurian. Ron says I've been a rough few months. There was a flood. I'm taking care of my mom in and out. Oh, Ron, I hope things get a little bit better. Glad you're hanging in there. I hope your mom is okay. Round of hearts for Ron. He's been tuning in for a while, and I hope you end up recovering. Sorry to hear about that flood. That really does suck. But I'm glad you're hanging in there. So this is the area I walked 2 days ago. This is the historic center, one of the largest in Europe. So now we're approaching the main train station, Genova, Piazza Principe. Wendy says, what did you eat today? Focaccia and pesto. And cornetto, which is a croissant stuffed with pistachio for morning, and multiple coffees. That's basically it. Wow. So we got cruise ships right there. It was one of the largest ports in the European Union. Genoa is also the sixth largest city in all of Italy, with a population of about 550,000 people. And then the metropolitan area, the larger metropolitan area, extends to up to 1.2 million people around there. LAB says I just tried some basil olive pesto from Trader Giotto's. It was pretty good. Oh yeah, yeah. That's good to hear. Trader Giotto's, aka Trader Joe's. The scene right now looks very Gotham City. Ron says, I tried pesto 2 times. Not for me. Give me marinara sauce any day. Yeah, well, yeah, Ron. Pesto, I think in other countries just does not compare. I've always disliked pesto in the U.S. also. I'm not sure what type of basil they grow in Philippines. It does depend on the type of basil. In America, we use a different type of basil that's a bit more bitter, I think. Hey. I think we're about to end the tour. It went very quickly. Okay, that was a quick trip. They said an hour, but I ended up taking 30 minutes because it's Sunday. There's no traffic. I took city sightseeing Italy, €25 for a 24-hour pass. We did see plenty, which was nice. There was enough to see on this ride. The blue line, we took the red line. There's two lines. The blue line goes a little bit further into the coast, down south of the city. But it pretty much retreads the same exact path for the majority of it. So for a one-time sightseeing, I think if you have €25, it is worth it. Otherwise, I wouldn't use it for the hop-on, hop-off function. I would just use it as a one-time deal of seeing the city. And the stop is right in front of the aquarium. So very, very big landmark over here. Aquarium is one of the biggest, or the biggest of all Europe. And definitely one of the more visited as well. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. This was a full bus tour of Genoa. Genoa is a gorgeous city. As I mentioned, it is a city that will be very fun if you do it as a day trip from Milan, or you can do it for a day trip from other points nearby. But Milan is the closest big city to Genoa, only an hour away by direct train. You can take a high speed if you want to, or you can take a regional if you want to save some money. But if you do want to make Genoa a destination, I really only would recommend about 3 days. I think 2 full days for exploring Genoa and 1 day to see Genoa at a nice pace. It's a beautiful city, but there's not that much like tourism on the level of like a Rome or a Florence or a Venice. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. This was Genoa. I'll be back for more live videos throughout mid-October. Let me know if you have any recommendations on what else to see in Italy. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Arrivederci, amici.